Melbourne, Australia might be getting a Disneyland. And as soon as I saw this, my instant thought was like, no, we're not. No, that's not going to happen. And I might eat my words in 10 years, but at this stage, I seriously doubt it. All of this like it's all, everyone, your news.coms, your pedestrian TV, Daily Mail, everyone's just writing stories about it. The Lord Mayor of Melbourne, Sally Capp, just said, it would be great if we had a Disneyland in Melbourne. And everyone's taking it and running with it as though she said, yes, we are doing it and it's going to be out next year and you will be able to go to Disneyland in Melbourne, or just like drive up to the Avalon airport and the land there will be a Disneyland. I have serious doubts, but also I don't want a Disneyland in Australia. I don't want it to be easy to go to Disneyland. The whole point about Disneyland, and I've been to the one in Tokyo, really fun, and I'm going to the one in Paris, right? So I would have been to 2 Disneylands. And I get that they have them all over the world, but I don't want one in Australia. Because if there's a Disneyland in Australia, some of the magic of Disneyland goes away for me, right? I want Disneyland to be something you have to go really far away for, not just drive down to Geelong for. Like, I'm literally flying on a plane halfway across the world to go to Paris and go to Disneyland. That's not the whole reason I'm going, but you know what I mean? I flew to Tokyo to go to Disneyland. I would fly to the United States to go to Disneyland. I don't want to drive to Geelong and be in Disneyland, because then it's too easy and Disneyland isn't special anymore. Disneyland's supposed to be special. If you put one in my backyard, well, then it really is a small world after all, right? And I don't want that. I want Disneyland to be this magic thing that you only get to do very, very infrequently, and you fly across the world to do it. You don't go for a drive. I hate that. I don't want one here. It would ruin the magic. And Walt knows that. They all know that. Also, Australia isn't cultured enough to have a Disneyland. Australia isn't magical enough to have a Disneyland. I don't know why, but you think of Tokyo, you're like, yeah, that Tokyo would have a Disneyland. Japan would have a Disneyland. France would have a Disneyland. America, of course, would have a Disneyland. Australia wouldn't have a Disneyland. We just wouldn't. We can barely get our theme parks right. Our best theme park is Wet n Wild, and it's just water slides, the easiest ride to get right. And you just know a Disneyland in Australia is not going to run remotely at the efficiency of the Disneyland in Tokyo, where they have like 10 staff on each ride, some of whom seem to be employed specifically just to wave at you as the roller coaster leaves the station. I'm not joking. Go there. Like, as if we're going to have some Australian bloke called Damo dressed as Goofy walking around Disneyland Australia being like, "G'day guys." I don't want that. Australia and Disneyland don't belong in the same sentence. Unless the sentence is, Australia shouldn't have a Disneyland. I don't want it, guys. I don't want it. But then maybe when I'm in Paris, I'll love Disneyland so much and be like, I wish there was a Disneyland in my backyard. But I do think Disneyland is a very like magical thing. And I don't know. Like, I don't want there to be one in Melbourne, but maybe I do. I don't know. I don't know. Guys, I'm sad. I don't want one.